What's something you thought was common knowledge but actually isn't? Gambling at a casino will most likely result in losing money. The on-ramp is for accelerating to highway speeds before you reach the highway. Just because eggs are sold in the dairy section doesn't make them a dairy product. I've heard people say they don't eat eggs because they don't eat dairy. That there are no tigers in Africa. I was on safari in Tanzania and two others in the truck were discussing how excited they would be to see tigers. I told them there weren't any and they looked all disbelieving and crestfallen, like I was spoiling their fun. They had to check with the guide. Taxes. I opened a new facility and hired a couple hundred people here recently, and the number of people approaching me about their paycheck being incorrect due to taxes is astounding. That the vast majority of telecommunications traffic between countries is carried via undersea fiber optic cables. That narwhals exist, are real. People have thought that I was trolling them by talking about a mythical unicorn whale. That antibiotics kill bacteria, but won't do anything against viruses. Everyone has the idea that if you get a cold, you see your doctor and get antibiotics. Take some acetaminophen, paracetamol and ibuprofen, and stay away from other humans for a while. How to stay in one's own lane when turning from one street to another. That other planets are visible from Earth. And the sun is also a star. AD means Anno Domini, not after death. Alcohol has calories. I had to be the one to tell my friend when she was in her mid-20s that the vodka she loved has calories. She was so shocked and said, "What?" I thought since it was clear like water it didn't have any calories. I've seen some Jimmy Kimmel skits where people are asked where certain well-known places in the world are, like, where is Australia? Where is Africa? And they literally can't point to them on a map, or they think Africa is a country. I just don't understand how people don't know this stuff. Everyone seems to get close to wild animals for pictures and think it's okay. We are not all one with nature, and animals like the space and don't trust you. You are meant to do the tutorial in games. Africa is not a country, it's a continent. That you shouldn't be rude to customer service or the cashier cause it's not their fault that the item is expensive. Tax brackets. You won't end up paying more in taxes than the extra income if you go up a bracket. Only the income above the cutoff is taxed at the higher rate, not your total income. I had to explain this to a guy in his 60s, literal years away from retirement. The flu is not just another cold, and you can't use the words interchangeably. Many people have never had the flu, or felt that unwell. The flu will knock you on your ass. Don't pet service dogs. I used to think everyone knew this, until I got one. Don't pet them, talk to them, make kissy noises, bark at them. Grown-ass adults barking at service dogs is shockingly common. Whistle, clap, none of that shit. Do not do anything to deliberately draw the dog's attention. If they are distracted, the handler could get hurt or even die. Not exaggerating. If a medical alert dog misses an impending medical emergency, the person doesn't have time to get into a safe position or take rescue medications. If they have a seizure or slip into a diabetic coma or something because you distracted the service dog asterisk, it is your fault asterisk. Basic geography. Not being able to point out Turkmenistan on a map is one thing. Not being able to point out the Pacific Ocean on a map is another. That you can wash blood with saliva. So much about vaginas. If you have a vagina, you do not need to clean it with soap or special cleanser. Inside or out. Also, the outer part is the vulva, the vagina is what's on the inside. Just a clean washcloth and warm water on the outside. The vagina cleans itself, that's why you'll get discharge. Do not douche, and definitely do not exfoliate your fucking vagina. It's not supposed to smell like flowers, it's supposed to smell like vagina. If there is a foul or fishy smell, then you probably have an infection. Otherwise, please just leave it alone. Basic principles of finance, budgeting, interest, debt, saving, etc. The difference between there, and there. Posting on Reddit may mean you end up suddenly appearing in an article on BuzzFeed next week. You have to look at the toilet paper after wiping to determine how much poo is left on your butt. You also have to touch your butthole with the paper. No, it is not gay to clean yourself. You're allowed to start a sentence, even a paragraph, with a conjunction for the sake of emphasis. I've had multiple people try to correct that, and then I'll show it to a professor and be like, this is grammatically correct, right? And they'll say, of course. How to use your debit, credit card at a checkout. I work in IT and I'm constantly helping people who don't know what the Windows key is. Don't know Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox or web browsers. Making your password your name is a really poor choice. Money disappears when you spend it, it's not magic. Hey Mom, who was the first man on the moon? Tom Hanks. Don't piss on a jellyfish sting. That margarine isn't butter, it hurts my soul when people refer to margarine as butter. Using your turn signal. That whales are mammals that used to be on land but evolved to swim instead. I had an art teacher that just didn't believe me when I told her that they're not fish. Correlation does not equal causation. The yield sign on highways are there so you look before you just keep going, possibly hitting someone. Happened to a friend's mom. How to use a damn roundabout, apparently. That all cows are female. Male animals don't have milk-producing udders, Sean. The male version of a cow is called a bull. Incidentally, I recently learned there's no common genderless word for a member of that species. There's cattle for a group of them, but nothing for an individual. The passing lane is for passing, not for your leisurely drive under the speed limit. That the sex of a baby is determined by the man's sperm. There's gravity in space. Over the time I've met so many people that thought that there is no gravity in space because everything there is weightless and stuff. Gravity has unlimited range, so there isn't even a single spot in our universe without gravity. Weightlessness is basically just falling. While orbiting, you're basically just falling around the object. If you're entering a venue that requires a ticket to be scanned for entry, someone without a scanner can't let you enter. If a month starts on a Sunday, you're going to have a Friday the 13th. I learned this from doing my own calendars for years. Example, next month, September 1st, 2019 lands on a Sunday, so September has a Friday the 13th. It takes approximately 1 month for the moon to orbit the Earth. There is gravity everywhere. On the ISS, the gravity is only a bit less than it is on the surface of the Earth. The reason the astronauts float around isn't because there's no gravity, it's because they're in a state of free fall. If you like it and want to see more, please like the video and subscribe.